In this video, I'll show you how you can connect your VPS to a ComfyUI instance hosted on another cloud provider. In the last video about self-hosting, we self-hosted everything here on Hetzner Cloud. So this video will kind of be a continuation. We will be adding NocoDB, and then we will be hosting ComfyUI on Runpod, and I'll show you all the things you need to know of how you can save costs and keep everything in place. So in the last video, we left off here. So we have created our VPS server. We installed everything, we connected it to Cloudflare, and everything was running. So this is how it was looking. We had an n8n instance running here, we had MinIO, we have the text-to-speech model, and NCA Toolkit. So the first thing that I'm going to do in this video is install NocoDB. So you can also find the entire script here. I added it here as well. But I'll go ahead into new VPS script. That is the new one. So last time it was just 4 of these, but now there is NocoDB as well. So I'll scroll down and go to NocoDB, and this is the code. So I'll copy this, then head to my Coolify dashboard and click on Edit Compose File, because we created everything using the Docker Compose file. And then at the end, from here, I will, because Docker Compose files follow the indentation rule, so you just cannot add anything anywhere. So you can see at the top, there is a version and services. And inside of services, you will see that all the services are in a straight line, as you can see. And then inside the services, these hold the next preference. And then there's information. So in the same way, what I'll do is just collapse it to make it more readable. And here I'll just paste NocoDB. So now I have the NocoDB command here as well. I've got the image, I've got the container, and then I'm exposing the port 8008 publicly, and internally it's 8080. This is where the data is stored and is part of the same network. So I'm going to click on save, and then you'll see that it is starting the whole thing again. And then I'll have to click restart. And after the restart, you can see the log that everything is ready. And I also have NocoDB here running. So I'll go back, click on Frost. And now you can see that it's running, and I'll go to settings. I will also host NocoDB. So I'll go to Cloudflare, and I already have the n8n. So what I'll do is click on add record and say NocoDB. And at this location, I will host my NocoDB instance. So that is saved from here. And for the public IP, it will be the same public IP as this one. So I'll just copy this and paste it here. But it is part of the same server. As it's originating from the same place, it should have the same IPv4. And now you can see that it is saved. I'll restart it again. And this is completed as well. So we have completed this thing. And now I'll try to copy this link and open it in a new tab. And let's see if it's... So currently it's unavailable. It might take a few minutes before it loads. I was getting this error constantly, and I thought that it's just not about waiting. So I looked into my configuration, and I found out that I didn't have this thing. So I just entered this when I copied it from Cloudflare. So I just copied this, then this, and pasted it here. And that's why it was not working. So I just came here and pasted it again, and then saved it, restarted it, and there you go. So now it's working. So now NocoDB is accessible at this point. If I refresh this, you'll see that you have this sign up page, and it's located at my own domain, and it's connecting via Cloudflare. So now I'll go ahead and sign up. I'll use my email, and then I'll enter a password. And I can see nothing on the page, but you can see that this is moving. So it's probably just loading. It's super slow. So everything is up right now. And there you go. So now we have our own NocoDB instance running. So you can just have everything. You can also have images and the attachments. And you can just create more fields. You can have, I think there are different views on this. Let's try to find where exactly that is. There you go. So create views. So you can create multiple views, how you want to see, if you have images and everything. And there's also the information of how you can access it. So from n8n, from inside the instance, you can access it using this link. So this will be the endpoint. So now we have added this. Let's move on to adding ComfyUI. So the first step would be here and show you the exact steps and also some information that you might need. So the first thing you would need is to go on Runpod. So you have two options. So you either have Runpod or Vast AI. And Vast AI is slightly cheaper in many of the things. You can see that they have slightly lower prices than Runpod, but I'm familiar with Runpod, so that's where I'm going to go. But if you really want to cut down on costs, you can use Vast AI. And if you need help setting this up, you can reach out. So the first step would be to head to Runpod. I'll just go to Runpod's site here. This is their main site. You can click here and here if you don't have an account. So I already have it and I'm pretty sure that I'm already logged in. So I'll click on login and it is just going to put me here inside. So now I am in the dashboard of Runpod. You can see the basic things. You have your usage, the resources, if you have any active pods. So on this platform, each virtual machine or the compute unit you rent is called a pod. You have these other options, bare metal servers, fine-tuning options. Then you have the storage. We're going to be using this later and you'll see why we need it. You have these settings, billings, and everything. So there are two ways to create a pod. If you click on the pods tab, you will see that you are taken here. You have all your GPUs, their hourly rate, right? And you have two options here. So first is a community cloud. On this cloud, you get everything for cheaper. And on secure cloud, you get your own thing. And this is slightly expensive, like a few tens of cents. So if you closely look at this tab, you will see when I switch to community cloud, the network volume disappears. So when you use the community cloud, you'll see that there are slightly cheaper options, but you don't have your own storage option. So when I create a pod here, for example, I'll just choose the cheaper option and I'll just use any template here and I'll try to deploy it. You will see that it is allowing me to deploy the pod and I have my pod here. It will start up and install everything, this basic template. So the template will come installed with PyTorch, this version. And if I click on logs, I can see the container logs, which are not there yet because it hasn't started, but you can see the system logs, which will be here soon. And there you go. So it is starting to give me the logs. It has created a 20 gigabytes volume. It's creating the container with this configuration. It's pulling all the images and everything. So it's just already up and running. So the pod is ready to use. So I can access the pod using this connect button, and it's going to give me the HTTP service here. So I get the link to the Jupyter Lab. I can click this and it's going to take me to Jupyter Lab. And here I can use everything as a folder. So I can see it as a file. And this is how it looks. We'll learn more about this later, but I'm here to show you a point that once you're done using it, right, you want to stop it. So once you stop it, you see that once you click on stop, you'll see that you're being charged this much amount. So you're charged about $4 for 30 days if you keep it shut down. But you will see that this is an extremely small pod. So I tried stopping it with FluxDeb and some other models, and I found out that it costs around $30. So if you have 100 gigabyte storage or 120, it's going to cost you 30 gigabytes just to stop your pod and save what's going on. So we're not going to go this route. And I'll go ahead and terminate this. So that's going to cost nothing now. So now I'm in the pods tab and I'm trying to deploy a pod. You will see that I will choose the secure cloud because that's the only place where you get a network volume. So when you click on plus, it will take you to a page to create the volume. And it will show you all the data centers that are available and all the GPUs that are available and how much is their availability. And all the data centers have different GPU types, right? So if you choose this, and if there is no RTX 3090, then you cannot choose 3090 on this storage. So choose the storage with the highest options or the ones you need. So I'll try to look around and I think I'll decide the one which has the highest options, which seems to be this EUR01. It is probably Romania. So I'll give it a name of ComfyUI n8n. And you can see how cheap this is. This is for 100 gigabytes, it is $7. So it has no random pricing. For example, when I tried to close the community pod and rather than terminating, I just stopped it. So it told me that I'll need $30 just to store everything. So now all the information is right here. It just tells you the price up front. And whenever you run it, it's going to charge you for that. And then you can just stop it. So I'll go ahead and create the network volume. And now you will see if I click on deploy, so I can just come here in the storage and over time I can just deploy it. And you will see that everything is not available. The only ones are that were shown on the last screen. So I'll choose the cheapest one here. It is probably this. And then I also have the option to choose spot if it's available. And more importantly, I have to choose a template. So I'll click here. And to choose the exact template, you can just come here and see that you need the ComfyUI with manager, permanent disk storage, towards 2.2. So I'll come here and search permanent because their search is kind of messed up. So you have to search with the lowest amount of keywords. And if I search it now, you will see that I get the permanent disk towards 2.2. So I'll just select this and I'll try to deploy the spot. If it's not available, I'll deploy on demand. So it's available. So now my pod is deployed. So even if I terminate the pod, for example, you can see all the pods that are running, which is this one. If I terminate it, all the data that is inside will still be stored in the storage unit, which is the ComfyUI we just made. And you can just deploy it again with some other GPU, right? So that's how it works. So now you can see that it has started to do everything together. So it has started to run the pod and it's going to execute and keep everything ready. So then it's going to install a few things. For example, here it's installing the ComfyUI manager and everything will come pre-installed. But you have to install the models and I'm going to show you how you can do that. So it took about 10 minutes and everything is ready. As you can see that the start script has finished and the pod is ready to use. So if I click on connect, you will see at least the Jupyter Lab is ready. If I go into it, it should be ready. If the ComfyUI is not ready, I can turn it on from Jupyter Lab. So this is how Jupyter Lab looks. It's basically like a file manager. So you can do everything. And this is very same to your Linux setup and your ComfyUI setup. So this is in the main window. If you click on this folder icon, you will see this is the general Linux look, right? These are all the folders because this is Linux. So if you go inside workspace, that is your workspace, you will see that this is the script to run the ComfyUI, and inside the ComfyUI folder, this is similar to how your local ComfyUI folder looks. If you have already made one, you will see that there are models and there are the same folders: checkpoints, clip, vision, control.net, diffusion models, Loras, text encoders, BAs, and everything. And outside, you can see there are outputs, right? So now how you start ComfyUI is that you need to run this script, this one. So I'll come here in terminal and I'll see where am I. So if I'm inside the workspace, which I am, so if you're not, you can use the cd command, which is change directory to navigate. So if you say cd double dot, that's going to take you one directory behind. So if you say cd workspace, and you can actually see all the available ones. So if I say ls, that lists all the directories. And now you can see I want to go into workspace. So I'll say cd workspace. So now I'm inside the directory and then I'll run the script. And then I'll type run_gpu.sh. And that is going to start ComfyUI for me. And there you go. So it took about 2 minutes to get this ready. And you can see now this is available. So to go to this link, what you should actually do is come here and click on this. So when you click on this, ComfyUI would be ready. And now you can build your workflow just like you would build locally. And how you downloaded models from Civit AI or some other website like Hugging Face, now you can just download it through terminal. I'm going to start another terminal and show you all the things that you need to know. So this is how it looks. This is your base workflow. If I try to run it, it's going to tell me that this checkpoint is missing because it's not installed. So now I'll show you how you can install it. So I'll copy the name from here. I'll select this and I'll search it and it's going to take me to Hugging Face, right? So this is the exact model that I need. So now I'll click on copy download link. And then I'll head back to the Jupyter Lab. So I'll open another terminal and then head inside the checkpoints folder. So I'll click on ls. That's going to show me everything I need. And then I'll do cd models to go inside models, then ls again. And then I need to go cd checkpoints. So I need to go inside checkpoints. And there's nothing inside, right? So here I need to install it. So the command is wget. You can also see that command here. I've added wget, right? So you can follow this if you need any help. But the point being, you write wget and then you paste the link. And then you can just press enter. And it's going to start downloading the model. So sometimes what people do is click on this link and then select copy link. So that gives you a link like this. It is exactly the same except this thing. So if you're trying to copy directly from here, so remove this and paste it. So that's the difference between download and copy download link. This already removes this for you. But if you just copy it from here, remove this. Otherwise, this won't work, right? So there you go. It has already downloaded 2 gigabytes of the model. So I'll go ahead and try to run it again. And there you go. Now it's running. So I can see the queue and I can also see the green execution, how it's going to go from here to here. And there you go. You can see the entire generation step. And this is the first load. If I do it again, it should probably be faster. All right. So Now what I'll do is actually close ComfyUI and then close our manager as well, the Jupyter Lab, and I'll close this. I'll close this as well and then terminate the pod, right? So our pod is terminated. Now we won't be charged for anything except the storage we have, but now we can deploy it again, right? And everything will already be loaded. So the entire wait time of about 15 to 20 minutes was just for the first time. So now I'll just use a stronger GPU to do everything. And now you can see everything is already selected, the one I need, and I'll just use this pod and see if it's available. And it is. There you go. So we got in half of the price. So now when this pod starts, it's going to pick up from exactly where we left off. And it's just going to start up and everything will be ready to use. And when it's ready, I just click on connect and ComfyUI is ready and the Jupyter Lab is ready. So there you go. Now I'll click on connect and you should probably see Jupyter Lab is ready and I need to start ComfyUI again with that script. So if firstly, I'll start the script to use ComfyUI, which is run_gpu.sh. And then I'll take you inside the ComfyUI to show you that all your outputs are already there. So the exact folder is output, and there you go. So both the images that you made are here, right? So nothing is lost. So this is how you do it using the secure cloud and the storage. So nothing is lost, and you can just start where you left off, depending on different GPUs. So you can choose different GPU on every launch, and you can just terminate it again, start from where you left off. So if I think this is too expensive for me, for example, it's about 35 cents, I can just close it, and then choose 10 or 15 cents GPU. So now ComfyUI is starting up. I'll click on connect and then click here. And once it says that ComfyUI is ready here, this is going to be ready to use. So in ComfyUI itself, there's a lot to learn about different models, Loras, how you can install the managers and everything. So we're going to do that later. But firstly, we'll just add our R3 automation and get it up and running with n8n on the cloud. So I'm going to close this workflow and import the one which I have. So this was the exact workflow I used for R3. And I'll have to download different LoRa and the different checkpoint. So the first thing that I'll do is come back to our community and scroll down to R3. And then I'll look at the exact model that I have. The model is Juggernaut XL. So I'm going to copy this and paste it on Google. And it's going to give me a Hugging Face link. Then I'll copy the copy download link and take it to the checkpoints. Like I did earlier, I'm going to open another terminal, click on terminal, scale a bit back, and then list everything. And then I'll head to models, and then I'll head to checkpoints. And now you can see I have one of the models here. So now I'll do the same thing again, wget, and then paste the Hugging Face link, and it's going to start downloading. So in this workflow, I'll actually save this here on the cloud with name R3. I'm going to close this. The next thing I need is a LoRa. And the LoRa was called milled style arch safe tensors. So now my entire 6.5 gigabytes of Juggernaut XL model is downloaded. The next thing that I need is that I had a different LoRa, which was milled style or mild style. So now I'll try to do the same thing that I did with our checkpoint model, right? So I'm going to copy the link and then say wget and paste the link here and remove the end part after the question mark. And then you will see that we get an error. So I think I removed this. I'll add that back. And there you go. So I got a 401 unauthorized error. That means the file is there, everything is there, except I'm not authorized to do it. So in some platforms, simply wgetting won't work. So to resolve such issues, what you have to do is try to find the API key for that platform. For example, in Civit AI, you can come to the settings wheel, and this is going to open your account setting. And then you can scroll down or just search API and find it here, right? If you scroll down at the end, you will see API keys. And then I'll add API key, and I'll just say for ComfyUI, and then I'll save it. And this is going to give me my API key. So after you have your API key ready, the next thing is you need the link for the model. So if I click here and copy the link and paste it here, you will see that I get the model and the model number. So I'll remove the last bit after the question mark, and then I'll add token equals to, and then I'll take this token and put it here. And then add wget in the start. And I've also added everything here in school, as you can see, wget, and then you need this command and then the model number and change the token here And at the end, you also need the content disposition flag. So I'll paste it here at the end. So what this will do is, if you don't use this, it will take this as your name. So this is going to be the name of your file. And if you add this, the file name would be correct, right? So I'm going to copy this and add back to ComfyUI and paste this. And this will start downloading my model, as you can see, and it's saving it as mild style art, and that is the correct name. So earlier, the reason why I didn't register because I didn't use the content disposition flag. So it saved the wrong name, as you can see here. You'll see that I have 4 downloads and all of them are correct, but they have the wrong names. So that's why it was not picking up. So it has to have the extension .save tensors to pick up. So now what I'll do is actually save the workflow and restart the ComfyUI and refresh the page. So ComfyUI can read the changes. And now if I click here, you'll see that I have the other option, mild style art, so I can select it. So I'll zoom in. Now I'll give it a prompt, a stoic man standing around ancient Roman architecture. And then I'll just run it. And now we have a different model, a different flora, and everything will be different here. And while the workflow is running, this is the first time it's loading, that's why it's so slow. But here you can see the load that the CPU is at 41%, the GPU hasn't even started, and we're using 20% of the volume. And let's see the container logs, where we can see the exact logs here. If you go to output and if I go to this terminal, so this is how I can see the logs. I can see the image, I can run it again, and it's probably going to be faster this time. Now I'll try to give it a very specific prompt, so I'll actually have GPT craft a prompt for me. And there you go. So as we increase the quality, it just gets better. I'll say 2048 by 2048, and then I'll run it again. Hopefully it's probably going to take about 5 to 10 seconds this time, but it should definitely be better. And you can actually see everything loading here. So this is going to allow you, to create faceless videos super fast. Okay, so as you can see now, this is a very important lesson. As I scaled it to 2048 by 2048, you can see how everything is messed up. You have the legs and arms and everything, because the model is trained to go maximum for about 1024. So when it goes above that, it interprets all the space in the middle as something else. So it actually tries to make 2 bodies in the middle, right? So you have to, if you want to scale the image up, you can actually use the upscale mode, but don't go over the limit. And if you just add this again, and you will see everything is fine. Okay, so this goes here, and then I'll run it again, and you'll see that everything is fine now. It is not making any mistakes like it was. There you go. So if you scale it more, you'll see that it misinterprets and tries to add things in the middle because it's not trained to do that. So keep it in this limit. And if you want to have an even higher resolution, just upscale it. So now what I'll do is actually try to enable the API if it's not enabled. So now I'll click on settings and make a few changes. I'll make the dev mode to be turned on. So the dev mode is on, you can save APIs and everything. So we'll learn all the other things, for example, custom nodes and all the different stuff, how you can make complex workflows in the ComfyUI section here. Currently it's not ready, but it will be ready soon. So let's go ahead in n8n and configure everything and then make it talk to our ComfyUI in Runpod. So I'll come here and look at the exact link for n8n. So here it is. I'm going to open this in a new tab. And here's the fresh instance. Now what I'll do is actually just name it R3 and not just make it complicated. Now I'll import the workflow. And here's the entire workflow. Now it will be too much of a hassle to configure everything. So what I'll do is copy all the credentials from my existing n8n setup. Now I have added all the API keys that I need. I added the sheets, and I also added Open Router, and I have downloaded the overlay and the song and stored it locally. Right, so the next step is to configure everything else. So let's go ahead step by step and do it. So what I'll do is bring this here as well, and bring the information here as well so I can see what's going on. So let's trigger this. So hopefully this shouldn't be an issue. And now for the script item, I have the script ready. I'll just execute this as well. And then the code and all these things should not be an issue. But for the voiceover, I'll have to change this URL. And this URL would be exactly this. And I can copy this and paste it here and add a slash. So that should be no issue. So now let's figure out the main thing, which is the images. So this is our normal URL, and this is where our ComfyUI is running. So I'm going to copy this link and go back here and replace this with this. And I'll also have to replace this one more comma or one more slash. And that is done. And this is done. This is our exact prompt and everything is ready. And I think it should work now. Let's see in ComfyUI if I'm able to send the request. And there you go. I'm able to send 5 requests and I already have the images ready in about 2 seconds each. And there you go. And now in the workflow, I can just fetch the remaining things. So let's see, the wait that I've configured is 5 seconds. That's good. So you can configure this according to the GPUs you run in Runpod. And then I'll just fetch the images. Okay, so this won't work because I also have to change this URL. So I'll go ahead and replace it and now try to run it. Okay, this still won't work because, okay, it worked, but there are 2 slashes. So I've got the image information. Now I'll wait again. And then I will fetch the image URL again. Then I'll clean the image URL. Then I'll wait again. Okay, so now we have a new challenge. So the thing is, we installed this on our local computer, but we don't have this installed on our VPS. So I'll go ahead into the school. So here is everything you need to know. Firstly, you'll have to open the container. So I'll copy this command, head here, and then open terminal, and then connect to the main terminal. So what I'll do now is I will open this and I'll say docker ps. That's going to tell me the exact name and the ID. So from here, I can see the ID for Docker is this for n8n. So what I'll do is come here and copy the first command, then open a text editor, put it here, and replace the container ID with the command that I just copied. And then I'll take this into the terminal and paste it here. And now I'm inside n8n's container, but with root's authority. So now I'm the super user and I can do anything and I won't have any permission issues. So I'll copy this and I'll paste it here. And there you go. So that's how you can just install FFmpeg. And in later tutorials, I'm also going to show you how you can do it with the power of GPU if you have it. So now if I run this, you will see that it should be able to get the length because now we have the package, and then I'll run the image path array. Now I'll generate video and I should not have any issues. Okay. So from the error, I can see that it is not able to find the deep meaning audio. Right, so let's see what's going on here. So the video is already generated. That was the old thing. So let's add the overlay now. And I should be able to see the logs here. I'll refresh them. So this time add overlay worked because there was no typo like before. So now I'll go ahead and save it as well. That shouldn't be an issue. So this time I'm going to read it. So I have my file read. So now this is where we have to configure one more thing. I'll get my min.io endpoint. I'll paste it here. And now I have to configure min.io. So I'll head here into projects, then first project, then the entire stack, and then I'll get min.io's actual console URL. Like, so I'm going to get this. And then from this, I'll copy the URL from here and then open one more tab and replace that with the 9001. That should open min.io. So to now configure the S3 endpoint, I'll come here and copy the endpoint from here. And then for the access key, I will copy this. So now I'll click on create access key and copy the access key and paste it here. Then copy the secret key from here and paste it here. Then force path style, save it, come here and name it n8n key. And then create this as well. And now we have the key for n8n. Now we need the raw videos bucket, I suppose. As you can see, we need the raw videos bucket to upload our file. I'll click on buckets and then create new bucket, raw videos, create the bucket. And now I try to run this. There we go. We have our video uploaded. And the object store, I can see it. There you go. So I have the video. Now this is another challenge, which is configuring this entire thing. So I'll come here and I will copy firstly the NCA Toolkit's API key, the NCA Toolkit's endpoint. So I'll replace this here. So that's one thing done. Now the API key will be API key. The video URL would actually be different. So it will be this. And I'll have to make this bucket public as well, right? That's the only way to give it access. So now this is public. So I will actually remove this with this and then add min.io there. So we have this ready. Now we haven't configured or happy. So let's see if we have configured the compose file. We have. Okay, perfect. So now I can just go ahead and execute this step. And I'll save it. I'll save all the changes I've made so I can give you the file. So now let's see if the NC Toolkit is working. Okay, so the Toolkit has sent us an error. Okay, so the reason why it's not working is because, as you know, when I completed the first video, I deleted everything. I deleted at the entire VPS, and then I recreated it. And this time I unknowingly used the AMD version. So here you can see whenever the thing is being built, whenever I try to restart it, it tells me that the image is unoptimized for the AMD VPS. So if I try to restart it, you'll see the logs. And here you can see the NCA Toolkit, the requested image platform does not match the detected host platform because it's ARM64. So that's why I'm not able to run NCA Toolkit. But from all the changes I've made, for example, this and this, it should work completely fine on your setup. And the rest is just pretty much the same as I've configured this as well. And the rest is the same. Okay. So now for configuring and changing everything, I'm going to save this and download it again to upload in the community. So see you in the next video.